And we're another 50 minutes in to the last area of the game. The lab below. But we've already read this part. Yawns, coughs, sneezes. All the stuff you don't want to do when you're Let's Playing. But all the stuff I am doing right now. Blast doors.
Go for the blast doors. Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors.
Sounds of machinery fade behind you as you venture further underground. Whoever built this facility was clearly well financed. It must have taken years to design, excavate, and build a complex like this in secrecy. You continue through dimly lit halls, finally stepping into what appears to be another laboratory area. The corridor before you is deserted. Dr. Adrian Vauclair is somewhere within this facility, and with him, the answers you seek. No mini cutscene. No dialogue. Okay. A door I can't interact with. Just flavor. Nothing here. Holding Alt does that. Yeah, see. Just an open door. We're gonna run right into the maw of the crocodile, aren't we? Clearly there's more to this lab than meets the eye, but they won't let us interact with it on any sort of level. A modified CAT scanning machine. You ever need a CAT scan? Don't. Damn things cost a fortune unless you have insurance. Oh, hello. Oh, I couldn't explore. The old man behind the glass works feverishly at his console, glancing up at you when he can. A cigarette dangles from his mouth. Its bluish smoke curling around his head. An overflow ashtray sits on the lab table in front of him. The years have not been kind, but his features are instantly recognizable. Despite his age, he still has the strong chin and high cheekbones that you remember from Green Winter's DVD. This is Dr. Adrian Vauclair. As you approach, he stops what he's doing and a look of intense irritation on his face. He clears his throat and a harsh rasping sound emerges from the loudspeaker next to the glass. So, you're the Shadowrunner that Audrin warned me about. I assume you've left a trail of corpses in your wake. Oh, is Audrin around? I've got a message from him from Paul Amsel. If you wish to speak with my secretary captain, that can be arranged. He reaches down, flips a switch. You hear a loud thulling crack behind you as your door locks shut. You'll find that the blast door behind you is sealed, and the laboratory you occupy is fully secure. An important precaution. We keep our test subjects in there, and they are far more dangerous than you. Takes a drag and a cigarette. I won't permit you to cause any further harm, Shadowrunner. You will remain trapped where you are for your own good. Break the glass between you and Vauclair. The hell I will. Hagar, why don't you show the doc how we feel about being trapped? Yeah, there you go. With pleasure. In one smooth motion, Iger raises her shotgun and loads a spread of pellets into the glass. They clang into the window, ricocheting wildly in all directions. The surface remains unblemished. The window between us is made of Dicotite-treated transplast. Do whatever you like to it, you'll find that it's quite unbreakable. Bastard's right. Nothing we're carrying can even scratch Dicote. That glass is essentially sheathed in diamond. We'd need military-grade explosives to crack it. She frowns. We're stuck in here. Now, he fixes you with a level stare. I want to know why the hell you've so violently injected yourself into my business. First you break into my estate, which you didn't know was mine, apparently. Then you spend what must have been a small fortune to track me down. You locate my AI, destroy it, then drive all the way out to the countryside. And finally, you shoot your way into my laboratory. He leans forward, hands on the table, his eyes narrowed into a piercing stare. So I have to ask you, Shadowrunner, who are you, and what guy's name are you? Why God's name are you here? You know, just shopping around. I've always wanted a secret lair under a giant castle. I'm such a douche. That would absolutely be me. I mean, that's just me, almost. Hold on. Okay, I've had my chuckles. They're almost out of the way. I still want to pick that one so much. But I'd like to pick the item that I feel is going to give us the most exposition at this point. Okay? So we came to find you, Volclair, to help us stop Firewing, except the Firewing wasn't the one after us all along. It was you, wasn't it? He sighs, covering his face with a pale, nicotine-stained hands. To help you stop Firewing? That is ironic. But yes, you are correct. I am the one who has been hunting you. One who sent Apex and Audrin after you. You're going to pay for that, you bastard. Fucking asshole, you pay for this. Why attack Crucibars, Volclair? Why kill Paul Asmil? It was necessary to preserve the secrecy of my work for the greater good of all. I know I have wronged you, and for that I'm sorry. He sighs a long, rattling sigh that quickly turns into a violent fit of coughing. The sound echoes over the loudspeaker. He collects himself. Continues. Shouldn't that be a hyphen right there? I don't expect you to understand. Nor do I have time to explain it to you. He straightens, glancing back at the screen to his side, and nods curtly. Now I must know. How did you learn that I was still alive? How did you even know to look for me? Did someone send you? Let's see. Let me read these. You can be so cavalier. They gave you this fourth option right here. Well, there was this antiquated DVD storage device. A bunch of talk about Dragonfall. And, oh, the body corpse of a guy named Green Winters. Maybe you knew him. But I think I'll pick the exposition that I think would give us the most, like, his insight. Your brother got us into this mess. He hired us to break into your estate. We pieced together the rest from his journals. He starts, and the sudden movement of his arm sends his overflowing ashtray flying on the table in a cloud of ash. My brother? Hermie? It's been years. Have you seen him? How is he? Well? Oh, you mean you didn't know? You killed him too, just like Paul and Monica. I didn't. He's suddenly overcome by another fit of coughing. He steadies himself on one arm of the chair. Apex. He clutched his chest. I should never have trusted that thing. He closed his eyes and a tear traced its way down his hollow of a cheek. Oh, Hermie. The things I've sacrificed, all for this, all for Panacea, all for tonight. Panacea, your modified virus? What's tonight, Doctor? What are you planning with Panacea? Or, well, there's always the dickhead samurai choice, which, you know, sometimes I pick that, but Panacea, your modified virus. What are you planning? Yes, you know about that then. Panacea is my life's work, a permanent solution to an age-old problem. It will mean the end of the dragons, not just Firewing, all dragons. Let me get this straight. You had a bad experience with one dragon, so now you're going to wipe out an entire species. Volclair fumbles in his pockets, produces a fresh cigarette. He's a chain smoker. He lights it with shaking hands and breathes in deeply. The orange glow of the cigarette flares bright. When he exhales, the words spill out of him with the smoke. The Firewing burned and murdered and caused untold damage to her in her bestial rage. Until the Dragonfall, until I stopped her. But that destruction was merely a symptom of a great cancer. Firewing wrought destruction with fire and claw. The dragons of today, Lofwar, Dongsak, Cider, they kill and conquer with subtler tools. Deception, manipulation, corruption. He is correct. That is what the dragons do in this universe. And they do want to rule the world. That's their goal. But they can't do it through brute force. They use us as pawns. Playing pieces, puppets in their millennia-long, of course, in millennia-long machinations. Oh yes, dragons are a cancer. One that will conquer or worse destroy all of humanity if we don't stop it. One that metastasizes when the world awakened. An ironic metaphor, since it was the falling of my own body that allowed me to see it. Let me guess, you have cancer. Late stage 2, if I had to guess. I'd say leukemia. He's racked again by violent coughing. Allows it to subside, takes another long drag of his cigarette, the ash creeping closer and closer towards his mouth. Your friend is correct. I suffer from cancer of the blood, brought on by the radiation of the SOX, no doubt. It was when I heard my doctor's diagnosis that I realized what I had to do, what my life's work would be in that time I had left. Sorry, Hermie. I'm sorry you won't be able to see it for yourself. I'm sorry I failed you. Volclair turns attention back to the computer. Stubbing out his cigarette, he grabs a fresh one from the pack and lights it. Tonight, I will release my panacea to the world. and how absurd that the instrument of Dragonkind's destruction. He presses a button on the terminal and a large observation window at the far end of the room rises slowly open. Will be carried out by Firewing herself. Through the glass, you see the prostrate form of Dragon far below. An enormous set of shackles binds it, and a maze of tubes snakes into its body. The tubes connect to a cruel-looking apparatus that has been mounted to the wall. Some bitch, look at that. You found her alive in the SOX after all. Tonight the Firewing will fly again. Infected with Panacea, she will slowly be destroyed from within, but before that happens, she will provide the catalyst for global transmission of the virus. Catalyst? What catalyst? Oh, come on, don't you know how that works? As if spurred by the sight of the dragon below, he begins typing furiously at his terminal. Firewing's fire will carry the agent. In its dormant state, any metahumans exposed will become carriers. It will spread the disease to other dragons, but will they die from it or just become carriers? Just like some mosquitoes carry leukemia but are infected by it. The carriers will be infected with Panacea as well, but will not harm them. Okay, Stacey. To non-dragons, it's a nuisance, nothing more. When critical mass of carriers is achieved, a Panacea will become unstoppable. It'll spread across the globe in a relentless tide. However, if it does not reach this critical mass, it will fizzle, die out, become inert. Hence the need for a ground zero, a flashpoint for the mass infection event. He looks at the ceiling, mumbling to himself. Sorry, Hermie. I know how you loved your flux state, but this doesn't matter now. It must be Berlin. I understand your reasoning, but there has to be a better way. Hold on. What? There has to be a better way. I'm smarter than that. I know what he's planning. He continues his work, filled with feverish energy. Sadly, there's not. If there were, I would gladly take it. For Panacea to work, Berlin must burn. A tragic sacrifice, but one made for the greater good. Firewing will breathe her infected fire upon Berlin. Thousands will die. And through that destruction, the virus will take to the air. A critical mass of Berlin's metahuman population will be exposed, but no one will even think to quarantine the city until it's too late. The flux state lacks any centralized authority. Corporations will evacuate their own. Thousands will flee the city infected. He mutters, his voice growing more detached. Oh yes, Hermie, Berlin is the perfect flashpoint. Wasn't supposed to happen tonight, no, but this little intervention of yours leaves us no choice, so let's see. He squints at the screen. I can't read. Tonight's wind patterns dictate that ground zero will be Tempelhof-Schlomberg. Highly populated. The virus will spread quickly enough from there. It's only a few K from the crazy boss. I'll do it, Vauclair. I swear I will make you hurt if you do. And I'll make it last. Vauclair sighs. Shut his eyes tight, bring shaking hands to his temple. We all know that's not going to happen. You're trapped in here, impotent to stop this from happening. And it will happen. The old man eyes the cigarette butt in his hand, fishes out another from the pack and lights it with the first. Then he returns to his console, reaching to the side for a microphone. He mutters something into a receiver. You can just barely make out the sound of the name Audrun. When he turns to address you again, his voice is level. The shaking in his hand seems to have subsided. Security will be here soon, and they will take care of you. Don't worry, you will not be harmed. The sacrifice that I'm making tonight is necessary evil. It cannot be helped. So long as you remain confined, I see no reason to kill you. How are you going to get Firewing to go along with this plan of yours? Oh, that's simple enough. He gestures to his left. She has no choice. The gaunt woman in the containment cell stands rigidly, her face pressed against the glass, her haunted yellow eyes tracking your every move. She appears frightened, disoriented, lost. Her mouth moves silently, her voice muted by the glass cage. So the stories Green Winters found were true. Firewing's astral form was separated from her body when she fell. You trapped it somehow. Yes, but that came later. In 2012, we took down Firewing with an experimental weapon. The device, suffice to say, couldn't fully predict how it would affect her. In 2036, I led a search team into the SOX. I had to know what really happened to the creature I had slain. We found her alive in a way. Dragon's astral form, her spirit, you might say, had been ripped from her body by the weapon. It was trapped inside a young woman living in the SOX. A mob of glowpunks revered her, treated her like a goddess. I transported the young woman and the dragon's body here, where I could study them. You mean that she's been in that cell for almost 20 years? The old man nods absently. No choice. A creature separated from its astral form cannot live more than a few hours before both die. It was the high-intensity radiation of the SOX combined with magical creature inside her that allowed the woman to live for as long as she had. So, Beauclair seems almost eager to explain. The environment within her contained chamber mirrors that of the SOX. It has allowed us to keep Firewing alive all these years, while her bestial shell remains chained up below. Now, as for her physical form, well, that'll be simple as well. We've drilled a series of electrical charges directly into her skull, and she releases the Firewing's... When we release Firewing's body, empty of her astral self, we will trigger all of the vicious instincts. We will trigger all of the vicious instincts and primal urges left in the reptile's brain. She will unleash her fire where we command it. I'd go insane if I was trapped like that for 20 years. Shakes his head. Misplaced empathy. The beast blazes a path of fiery destruction across Germany. Oh, that beast blazed a fiery path across Germany. But no matter. I have more important things to do than to debate the morality of this with you. Firewing must fly. Berlin must be sacrificed, and it must be tonight. Now, where is that damned Audrin? I don't like it, but if it killed the dragons, maybe. You know. You don't burn a city and call it a sacrifice. You call it what it is, mass murder. He stiffens, turns his face, you anger washed across his face. Was it mass murder when America dropped the atomic bomb on Japan? The myopic would say yes, just as you are now. But they did it for the cause, to shorten the agony of war, to save the lives of thousands upon thousands of soldiers. Etiquette academic. Ah, man. I do the same. That's the only academic one I've seen so far. Oh, sure. Except that we're not at war with dragons. No, we are not. Not in a conventional sense. In war, there are sides, battle lines, clarity. This is something else entirely. But the stakes are just as high. Higher, perhaps. Humanity was born to reproduce, to multiply. But dragons were born to acquire, to accumulate, to hoard. Both strive to bend the world to their will. Humanity has conquered the air, land, and sea through sheer numbers. Dragons, however, employ different means altogether. Throughout history, they have allowed us to do the heavy lifting when they pull the strings. There are 17 great dragons in the world today. 17 ancient worms, millennia old, slowly dividing the planet into 17 piles of gold to nest upon, in front of our eyes. Once upon a time, they burned castles to steal the treasure we collected, laid waste to entire armies. But here in the sixth world, it is no longer about tooth and claw and fiery breath. The old man's voice seethes with hatred. Now it's public relations, marketing, mergers, and acquisitions. You see it every day. Dragons on the tradio, in the boardrooms, they gather influence, wealth, power, continually hoarding until one of them sits atop it all. Told you, rule the world. Perhaps not in this cycle of the world, perhaps not in the next, but one day the worm will stand alone, triumphant. Oh, one worm. With all of humanity as its cattle. With all the world as its prize. Yeah, and then what? What happens when there's only one dragon left and it owns the world? I mean, if that's its only ambition and it conquers it, it will get bored of that. And then he trembles. That I will not allow. Intelligence 6. What if this virus mutates into a strain that can kill us, too? An intelligent question. From the Shadowrunner? Surprising. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to explain that to you in detail. And since you were locked in that laboratory with no chance of escape, I don't really need to. But understand this. I am an expert in my field. That is not an idle boast. It is a certifiable fact. And I have worked with nearly unlimited resources for over 40 years, focused on one goal. One. That kind of gives you tunnel vision, dude. And that kind of makes you oblivious and unempathetic to everything else around you. Just wanted to interject that. 42 years of isolation, of secrecy. Dead on the world. Dead to the world. Dead to my brother. All for this, my life's mission. It will work, he looks down. I promise you, Hermie, it will work. Biotech 5. Your panacea is built on the back of an RNA virus, and yet you aren't worried about the possibility of mutation. It had to be an RNA virus. No choice in the matter. If panacea is to work, it must be robust. Untreatable. A DNA virus wouldn't fit the bill. You aren't listening, Doc. He's right. RNA polymerizes are notoriously prone to replication errors. Any first-year biology student could tell you that. You have no way of knowing how your panacea will mutate once you let it go. You're playing with fire in every imaginable way. I am not a first-year biology student, you dickhead. I said that, he didn't. I am at the forefront of my field, and I have told you it will work. Oh, it'll work. But the consequences you don't know. I've spent decades on this, studying it, proving its effectiveness. Another spasm racks his chest. He leans against the desk, grasping for breath. You will respect that. Because, damn, adequate academic. I wish I had this one. It's 2 choices now. Because I said so doesn't cut it, Doc. Not when the stakes are high. What Steelfleet's saying is makes sense, and you know it. You may be crazy, but you ain't stupid. Huh. Are your findings peer-reviewed, Vauclair, or are you invested? This is what I would do, because I do have an academic background. I would have the socialite etiquette and the academic etiquette in real life. I have decided. It's too much at stake. You are exactly right, Shadowrunner. There is too much at stake. Too much at stake not to act. After all, science has always attracted its share of doomsayers. During the development of the atomic bomb, Compton and Oppenheimer expressed concern that a fission explosion could ignite the Earth's atmosphere. Femi even took bets on it. Fermi. The group's research later indicated that the ultimate catastrophe was unlikely, so they continued forward. Takes a long drag on a cigarette. He's always dragging on a cigarette. Yes, I will show the same resolve. Those great minds did. I will not be deterred. They gave you the same 2 options at the bottom. I won't stop you. You know, it has mayor, or I've heard enough of this, you're nuts. But, really, he's not infallible, or even if he succeeds in living dragons, it'll create a dangerous power vacuum. That's kind of true. A pointless argument. Any power vacuum created through Dragonkin's extermination will be filled by metahumanity. Any backlash will right itself over time. I am playing the long game, Shadowrunner, one that has played over thousands of years. When you think on that scale, everything seems possible. Humanity will endure and the dragons will perish. See, I've heard enough. You're nuts, or your plans have problems, but you're right. See, like, these 2 keep showing up. So I think you're going to be left with these 2 at the end. Look, you're not infallible, Doc. You've already made a mistake here, and people died as a result. Mistakes? You sipped your cigarette to gesture at the glass. So says the career criminal trapped in a containment room. I've heard some of your inner office communications. There have been a number of deaths here over the years, haven't there? Well, we have all suffered losses, yes. They were tragic. But the people here accept that there would be risks. They made their own choices. I won't take the blame for that. I get that they made their own decisions, but from what I was reading, it sounds like those people died from your negligence. Basic lapses in lab safety, it said. He glares at you through the glass. Is there some point that you're trying to make, or are you just trying to anger me? Mostly I was just hoping to piss you off, yeah. Yes, that's a good choice. My point is that everyone makes mistakes, even you, and yet you want to roll the dice with a biological weapon. It will work, I'm telling you. Yeah, sure, somehow I don't find your research. Bet you told your research lab that would be safe too. Look how that turned out. The muscles at the corners of his mouth tighten. Why am I even talking to you? You're trapped in there, and I've still got work to do. Audrun will be here for you soon enough. The old man turns away from your study at some invisible detail in his console. He looks irritated. Apparently, he's going to say, if you say you killed your brother, he's going to say that's a sacrifice, because he's all about that. So, there are worse things out there than dragons, Vauclair. Exterminating one threat could open up the door to another. He grinds his teeth in expiration. Another pearl of wisdom from the Shadowrunner. The great dragons represent an incalculable threat to our survival as a species. To spare them for fear of some unknown nebulous danger would be absurd. Besides which, there is nothing worse than a dragon. I'm in a position to know. You're wrong. An astral entity told me about things that exist out on the metaplanes. Horrifying things that we can't even hope to comprehend. He lets out a startled chuckle. What does that matter? Even if your spirit stories are true, the dragons are what threaten us now. Yeah, he is talking about the here and now, though. Let's see. Let's see. I agree that dragons pose a serious threat to metahumanity. But we need to face the threats with patience and care. What we need is a scalpel, and a panacea is a jackhammer. But there's also the dragons don't exist in a vacuum. They're part of the awakened world ecosystem, and they have been since the beginning of time. Oh, academic! This is like the only time it's coming into play, and it's the only time like I want to really pick that. Let's agree this is true. What does it matter? Smallpox was used since the beginning, but I don't see anyone crying over it. That's a false equivalence. Yeah. Dragons aren't smallpox. If you drive them extinct, you'll be creating a condition that has never has never existed for the whole of human history. There's no telling what might happen as a result. I won't just sit back and let them take over the world. I must act. I will act. You may be right, Volclair, but this isn't the answer. He glares silently through the glass. The only thing left to do is talk about his brother, or 2 items that agree with it, and 1 that doesn't. This plan of yours killed your brother, wasn't it? Was it really worth it? No. Nothing can make that right. Nothing. His fist slams into the table, sending cigarettes flying, a cascade of sparks and ash. He runs a hand through his unkempt hair, blinking through the haze and sudden tears. Damn it, Hermie. Why couldn't you just let me go? Well, his brother's a soft spot for him. I don't know. Let's poke at it and see how big we can make the wound. Listen to reason, Volclair. Wouldn't Hermie want you to do this? You do not know my brother, Shadowrunner. Don't presume to speak to me on his behalf. Hermie would support me in this if he knew what I know. I've watched hours of your brother's video footage, Volclair. I probably know him better than anyone alive, except yourself. His face twists into an ugly sneer. You watched footage? And that makes you think that you know the man? You know nothing. I know that he wanted you to stop all of this years ago. He begged you to, and you promised him that you'd try. Volclair falls silent. A wisp of smoke traces away from the tip of his cigarette to the ceiling. He's right, Volclair. Your brother was a miserable bastard, but he did die trying to save you. If you don't turn back from this, his death will have meant nothing at all. That's enough. Hermie's death was a tragedy. I will not let you use it to manipulate me. So you can't make the wound any bigger now. He's basically scabbing it over. Volclair straightens. His expression is livid, but his body language tells a different story. The rage that shook him seems to have burned itself out. Now he just looks tired. I still like how you can say, I'm just messing with you, Doc. I just wanted to piss you off. If Hermie were here with us right now listening to this conversation, he'd tell you to stop this. Deny it if you want, but you know that's true. He slams his fist against the glass, his face contorted into a mask of rage and grief. How dare you presume to speak for my brother? To hell with letting you live. You're going to have front and center seats for Firewing's return. I will see to it myself. You're what, Doc? Her voice is soft but firm. For a long moment, Volclair stares at her, unmoving. Finally, his eyes flit to the ground. I'm not... If Hermie were here... Oh, God. The old man continues to stare at his feet. The blood is drained from his cheeks, leaving them sickly pale. If Hermie were here, he would not support this. He would point out the risks, the unknowns, the sacrifices, much as he always had, before he clenches his jaw. The muscles of his throat tighten as he forces himself to swallow. He would try to stop me. You can tell him you're gonna kill him. I don't think it's fun to be addicted to this guy. I mean, don't strike that. It's really fun to be addicted to this guy. But again, I just want to do the good guy expedition to see how long I can use this dialogue tree, because this gives you more exposition than I've had in a game in a long time, and so it's actually making you like, dislike, love, hate this character on a level that you don't see too often. So you still have a chance to give him what he wanted. You can put a stop to this before more people get killed. He remains silent for some time. Finally, the old man begins to speak. He sounds hollowed out, gutted. For over 40 years, I ignored the rest of the world. I ignored the media and the military, the board of directors at Delhi, and my little brother. No, especially my little brother. I wouldn't listen to them because I knew that I was right. I knew what had to be done. What they were all blind to. I was Hermes' big brother. Hermes. But I call it Hermes, like the god, like Hermes, But it's just, Hermes harder to say than Hermes. Because it's also Hermes. So, it just blends together with my phonetic, fuck it. I was Hermes' big brother. I was the great and celebrated Dragon Slayer. I knew better. He makes a sweeping gesture, look of contempt on his face. You see this lab? This complex you're standing in? And the pain that it was built to serve? And the plan? I sacrificed everything for this. My job, my health, my family. I was prepared to sacrifice Berlin to feed those people to the same fires that I spent my youth trying to extinguish. And all the while, Hermione is trying to tell me that I wasn't right, and I refused to listen. My refusal killed him, my little brother, the person I love the most in the world. He covered his face with withered hands. If only I had heard him, none of this would have happened. I'll be damned, I think you've talked him out of it. The old man lets a heavy sigh, his entire body trembling. When he recovers, he looks almost like a different man, tired, frail, defeated. So the etiquette you'd need for this tree is biotech, and you'll have that, biotech and academic, and you'll have the biotech if you pumped up the intelligence. So, if you've gone that route. So, for this exposition, it's specific, and I went that route, yay. But I didn't get the academic. God, if I was doing intel, I should have just morphed my etiquette to my character stats, not Shadowrun and security. Security got us through a lot. So security and academic probably would have been the best bets. My cure, the panacea, it isn't ready. I was ready to turn a blind eye to the flaws and deploy anyway, but my eyes are open now, and I do not like what I see. Karma Gain 2? Really? I cannot change what's been done. I can't bring Hermione back. But I can put a stop to this. I finally listened to what he was trying to tell me. To what I would never hear him say, and so I shall. I know this is a hard decision, Vauclair, but it's the right one. He stares at his trembling hands, a sad smile on his face. More than 4 decades of planning, all undone in the span of a single conversation. My brother's words delivered through the mouth of a criminal. Shadowrunners are criminals. I finally listened to Hermione, 42 years too late. Through the speakers, you can hear the sound of heavy footsteps approaching. There he is. I wonder if it's actually possible to kill him in the first mission. Because I've seen someone get him down to the low yellow, as long as that spirit got all the hits on that you could summon and didn't go apeshit and turn on you. But even if you kill him, the story probably will continue because they'll just revive him. I mean, he's more machine than meat at that point, so probably wouldn't take him out. But I'm just saying it would have been like a gloating privilege if you'd killed him. Vauclair looks up at the orc. His voice trembles slightly. There's been a change of plans. No time for that, Doc. We're waking up the dragon's physical form right now. Everything is ready for the procedure to begin. You should see to it. There will be no procedure, Audrin. You're going to have to repeat that. The plan, my plan, is flawed. Fatally so. The dragon will not fly tonight. Audrin stops in his tracks. He stares at Vauclair, unblinking. This must come to a shock to you. I'm sorry for that. He smiles weakly. Your belief in our cause was second only to my own. The orc goes on staring at the old man for a long time, then something on his face changes. He'll be pissed. Or he's not going to take no. He's going to kill Vauclair. If that's the way you feel, it's been an honor, Doctor. And now he's going to kill him. The honor has been my... Yep. The scarred orc stares at you through the glass as Vauclair's body cools at his feet. His eyes are brimming with hate. You shouldn't have made me do that, asshole. Doc was like family to me. Ugh. Yeah, sorry about that. Oh wait, no I'm not. I'll cry a river. You killed Paul Amsel. You'll join him soon enough. Don't you worry. For first things first, I have a dragon to release. The doctor's plan Panacea won't work. He knew that in the end. It will. The dragons will die. I've seen what Panacea can do. The doc showed me tissue samples and melted them. The dragons will die, yes, but there's no telling what else might happen. Unleash that shit could have deadly consequences for all of us. He continues and stares at you. And? Oh, you son of a bitch. Look who's talking. For all his faults, Vauclair was a hero, and now he's dead, and it's your fault. What is this all about you for, Audrin? Why the hell are you doing this? Why am I releasing a dragon, spreading Vauclair's panacea to infect the world? Because the world's sick, Steelfleet. Anyone with half a brain can see that, so I'm going to use the doc's wonder bug to poison it back to health. It might get better, or it might die. Either would be better than this languishing like this. So you want to change the world, but you don't care what changes it. That's insane, Audrin. Yeah, maybe. But it'll be interesting, and I'll be the cause of it. Not a dragon, not a megacore. Me. All by myself. Changing the world. Oh, speaking of change, your little life is about to become a lot more exciting. Did the doc tell you that you're standing in the animal research lab? It's overflowing with test subjects, and they don't play well with others. Nasty, dangerous things, and it's well past their feeding time. He punches a button, and from the corner of the room, you hear a hissing sound. Pneumatic lock sliding open. And now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a dragon to wake up. If you're still alive when I get back, I'll put a bullet in you. If you're lucky, I might even put it in your head. Quick and clean. Like your pal Amsel. He paused for a moment, considering. You probably shouldn't count on that, though. He probably has like 0.1 essence. So he is Darth Vader. So he has absolutely no humanity left in him. I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, like, because I know in some of the tabletops you can go down to less than 1. This game won't let you go lower than 1. But Shadowrun for Genesis, like, the guy had 0.1 essence, so yeah, it's probably the same thing. But he was more armor. This guy is just total, you know, walking mech. Here comes a modified, probably basilisk. Now we're all in a bunch. That was very wordy. Oh my. And I'm out of drone repair kits, it seems. I think. Yep. Oh, what's this? Activate. Move speed 3 for 2 rounds. I forgot I have that. I bought it, and although it does give me +1 move as a passive, so I can move 6 already. You know. That's pretty good. I did most of that without coughing. Nice. Okay, well, let's... Drone active. So I could throw in that. I don't think disarming him matters at this point. He doesn't have any weapons. 99%. And control mode active. Does seem like this thing has a decent range when it can lob it. I wish it would tell you the hit ratio as you move closer. You know, it'd be dynamic. That would be nice. But it doesn't. This might give him some cover, the drone, right here. I should probably lob one of these at it and then use an AP stunner. If it'll work. Reduces hit chance. Or -3 AP. Doesn't have the AP for that. Okay, fine, whatever. My chance is 64% out of that. 79%. Oh. There's some damage for you. 80%. 70%. 99%. Not bad. 80%. There you go. Dietrich, my magey man. Actually, he could go up to here and augment his powers. Oh, that's all of his AP, though. You know what? It's fine. Just relax. Everything's cool. Just cyberware I should activate. Now my throat is probably dry enough to where I'm going to just keep coughing forever. Alright. Let's see. And yeah, why not? Just go up and get personal with it. Bitch slap it. 2 damage per round. There you go. This thing can still fire once at it. And it missed again. Oh, hello. Drone damage. I should probably send my drones out of the fire zone. Oh, splash damage on mortar shells. Of course. Let's see. I don't want to stand in the fire. Alright. So she's got 2 AP left. I would probably enjoy... She can't really heal anybody anyway, so maybe I should just get out of there so the AoE can hit, but... There you go, it's 5 damage per round. She's doing pretty good. But I'll send her back for a minute. This drone is in the fire. Right. Oh, fire shouldn't affect the drone. It's just my own opinion. There you go. I can still launch a mortar shell. Oh, no, I can't. Dude, can I snipe this? Do I have line of sight on this thing? I do. I like your sniping abilities. I always have. I just wish that you had better aim right about now. I moved you over here for a reason. And that reason wasn't really to heal anybody, but let's give her a single hit point, which was a waste. And that... There's some damage. And I don't have... Is it dead? It looks to be dead. Alright, let's end the turn. Ah, more of these. Well, would you expect anything less? Truth be told, no. Drones can move quite a bit. If I had full drone control, man, they'd have 5 AP. Which would be insane. 22 damage. There you go. Now they have AoE, so... Oh, there's something to pick up here. Medical supplies. I might send my drone in there. Just to pick them up. Support drones, I think, can use medkits even. So... Alright. She can't possibly hit these people from here. But... If I move Steel Fleet over a bit... Maybe she can burn 2 AP and get over here. And maybe she'll have line of sight. And maybe she'll miss. Well, that's the only magic lines we have right here. And I could grant more AP to her. Now she has 5 AP. And I have 1. I think I'll stay where I'm at for right now. Here's your 5 AP. Get up close and personal with this thing. That only burned 2 AP. Sweet. I should pick up medical supplies while I'm here. Smack, smack. Oh, medkit. Smack. Alright. What's gonna happen now? I gotta fight her? I really don't want to. It looks like you missed. Nope, another fire dude. Whatever, dude. The only problem now is that she's in the way of progress. See, 1, 2. It's gonna be 2 AP to get over here, or just 1. There you go. The reason I want her gone is because AoE, obviously. Mortar shells. Yeah. Missed. Never enough ammo. Wonder if my drones can take care of this thing. When it dies, it explodes. Can I snipe this thing from where I'm at? I could if I had AP. $30 damage. 39 damage. I wouldn't want to be in its place when it blows up. There goes the drone in the afterburn. I should probably like move it out of there. You know, just in case. Now, it has a 25 hit points. 1, 2, 3. You should probably run away now. I really like giving her the last shot for some reason. Combat over. Alright. I can talk to this strange woman. The gaunt woman paws at the glass as you approach, her haunted yellow eyes tracking your every move. When you activate the intercom, a green light activates inside the containment cell. She flinches up at it, startled. Fire away? Small voice whispers through the lips that barely move. The sound is hoarse and awkward like rusty rock. Help, please, help. Asking how to free her is probably the wrong thing to do. Despite it being a pathetic creature, you kinda don't want to take pity on it, I don't think. Just saying. How do I get out of this room? Firewing. I know a way to free you yourself. Then you help me and deal. Deal if you agree to free me. Let's think this through, Steelfleet. Be careful. Hey, what? You help me out here and I'll see what I can do. I will help you. Grant you release. What kind of release? And you will repay me in kind. Yes, yes. You can escape from this room. There is a panel on the floor. There is. You can drop down. Find your way to the guts of this place. There. My body is the machine. Break it. Break it. Break it. We'll see. New objective: descend to the lower levels below. Yeah, I don't think freeing the dragon's body is a smart thing to do, and we're gonna have to say that for next episode. The suspense is built. We got all this exposition. We killed 4 fire basilisks, it seems, and we're kind of bruised and battered. She did pick up a med kit. We might need it. Let's just check before we go really quick to see who might be able to use what on whom. Iger is damaged a little bit, but she's not exactly that much damaged. Gory's a little bit damaged too. I'm going to use it on her, only because Iger never really uses healing kits, so out of combat is probably the best time to get everyone to full strength. Unfortunately, I have no more drone repair kits, and my drones have seen better days. But I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.